Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Kayla Fulmer, and I am going to be your instructor for this spring semester. This semester, we are enrolled in the Organizational Behavior course. This is MANG 422. It is an 8-week version of the course, and so traditionally, I teach this course over 16 weeks in person, which means the next 8 weeks are going to be pretty fast and furious as we cover all the content that is typically covered in 16 weeks, but in much shorter time. So what that means is we are going to be covering, generally speaking, about 2 chapters, 2 modules per week. It is a lot of work. It is going to require a lot of commitment. But I hope to make the learning process enjoyable. I hope that the class is structured in a pretty straightforward way. And overall, I'm really looking forward to having the time to get to know each of you, to learn a little bit more about your own backgrounds, and to hear your insights about the course concepts. So this course, MANG 422, is one of my favorite courses to teach. I've taught it several times now here at WVU, and each time I just become more passionate about it. I think the content is interesting. I think the content is fun and thought-provoking, and I think it's really relevant. So one kind of phenomenon I see is happening is as you learn the content, you'll start to see some of these course concepts occurring in the world around you. Maybe you'll see them in your other classes. Maybe you'll see them among your teammates when you see how people are engaging. Or when you're watching a TV show. If you love The Office, Parks and Rec, right? Those are great shows that illustrate a lot of the concepts that we're learning in this class. And even in your own workplace, as you start to interact with your coworkers, or maybe you start observing your leaders' behaviors, you better understand the reasons why people are behaving a certain way, maybe why they feel a certain way. So this class is helpful, it's practical, you can certainly put it to use immediately. As you're learning concepts, you can start using them right away. And overall, I just think it's really interesting and it's fun. So as your instructor, I will be with you the next 8 weeks. The course format is totally online, right? So it is asynchronous, but I've created some modules for you to go through each week. There's also some learning activities, some embedded videos, so some are from YouTube, but also mini lectures that I've created to help guide you through the concepts. Generally speaking, the mini lectures are chosen to highlight the concepts that tend to need the most explanation, or maybe concepts that students like having some additional examples for. So I've been very purposeful in which portions of each weekly content I've chosen to deliver to you. Again, they're mini lectures. They're about 20 minutes. Tried to keep them reasonable. I know you all are juggling other classes, other family responsibilities, working, things like that. So this is online. I've tried to adapt it in a way that's approachable, help students learn the concepts, but it's also manageable in amount of work that needs required. So you do need the textbook. We will be using the Colquitt et al. Text, organizational behavior text, and you can find the ISBN number for that online in the course. We'll use the 8th edition. So I'm going to teach out of the 8th edition because it's the most recent edition, but you can use the 7th edition. I know sometimes those are cheaper or easier to come by. I wouldn't go back too much further than that, only because sometimes the chapters can be off. Sometimes the concepts can change over time. So what they recommended 5 years ago might be a little different than what they're recommending now in this most recent edition, which is good because you want to have the most recent relevant knowledge, and the text does a really good job of showing how our knowledge can adapt over time. So as we collect more evidence from research studies, as we learn more about human behavior, more about employee motivation and behavior, we update our recommendations. So I really wouldn't go back too far beyond the 7th edition in terms of the textbook. But you definitely want a copy of the text. And I know sometimes students try to skim, they try to get by without it. And I just don't recommend it because you are in an environment where you're learning independently, right? I'm here to guide you. I'm here to coach you. There are opportunities to interact with your students, peers through discussion boards, but you also have to take a kind of a driving seat in your learning experience this semester because of the online format. The text is just going to help lay a foundation for you to better understand the concepts, to have some good examples. There are some case studies. And then as you go through my modules and watch my mini lectures, it's just going to reinforce the knowledge you already had. So a good way to approach this course, from my perspective, would be to read the chapters each week to lay a foundation, to get introduced to the concepts. And then as you go through the module and the mini lecture, semesters, it'll help reinforce what I think is important, right? Because I've drawn upon the concepts that I think you most need to know in the modules. And that will help you kind of check yourself. Do I know this? Does this information seem accurate? Do I still have some questions? Would I like another example, etc.? And so then you can go through the learning activities for this course, the discussion assignments, there are some quizzes, there are some written assignments, and that will further reinforce your knowledge of whether or not you're getting the concepts. If you're able to explain them in your own words, can you come up with your own examples, right? All of that will help demonstrate that you're mastering the content on your own. So get the textbook. And really this video is just kind of an introduction to what the course is, so you can see my face. Hopefully it helps break down some barriers. I want you to feel like you can reach out to me if you have questions, if you want to talk about future careers, if you are having problems, if you're struggling, right? I'm here for you. And I know sometimes being in an online environment creates a barrier, it feels less personal, but this is really my attempt to show you I'm a human being, I care about your learning, and I'm a resource for you. So I strongly encourage you to use that resource. Don't be shy. Don't be shy to reach out. You can reach out to me via email. We can meet via Zoom, however you like it. I'm also on campus. I work in my office. I do teach in person as well. So if you happen to be a student who's also taking some classes in person, let me know and we can meet in my office. This is not my office. This is a beautiful view. And unfortunately, I haven't been here long enough to get a view like that. So my windowless office is on the 6th floor of Reynolds Hall, and you can stop by. We can make an appointment. I'd be happy to meet with you, talk with you about this course, about your career goals, whatever it may be that I can assist you with. So here we are, week 1, and really the purpose of this first week is to introduce you to what organizational behavior is and to give you kind of an overview of how we go about studying organizational behavior. So in a nutshell, what we're really concerned with is why employees think the way they think, why they behave the way they behave, and trying to identify opportunities to increase the performance we want to see and decrease the performance that we don't want to see. So we're going to spend kind of the first week looking at organizational behavior, defining what it is. I'm going to talk about the scientific method and how it's used to study organizational behavior. So sometimes when we talk about social sciences, when we look at business curriculum, we don't always think about scientific method, but it definitely applies. The way we gather our knowledge related to the workplace is through science. It's through research and refining our research over time. So in order to be good practitioners, we have to have a good understanding of the science behind it. So that's week 1. Then the next task in week 2 is we're going to cover 2 important outcomes for organizational behavior, and those are job performance and organizational commitment. These are the 2 most important outcomes we're going to study in this course. And essentially what we want to know is an employee going to perform, right? Job performance. Are they going to stay? We want high performers. We want people who are committed. If our workforce isn't putting in the effort, right, they're not doing anything, if our workforce is constantly turning over and quitting, those are going to lead to us being inefficient. It's going to lead to excess resources being used trying to staff, trying to motivate, right? So our ultimate goal is to have a productive, motivated, committed workforce. So how do we get there, right? That's the final portion of this course. We're going to look at all the factors that influence job performance and organizational commitment. Some of the factors we're going to look at are job satisfaction, stress, motivation. We're going to look at personality, leadership. These are all other factors that can influence whether or not an employee performs and whether or not they are committed. With this knowledge, we can now make changes to the organization. We can start implementing interventions that allow us to improve performance, that allow us to increase commitment, because we'll have some science-backed evidence practices that we can use in order to get employees to perform at a higher level and then get them to remain committed to the organization, which is going to reduce some turnover costs. It's going to reduce turnover in knowledge, and ultimately it's going to make us more efficient and hopefully just make the workplace a better place to be. So that's kind of the overview of our goal for this semester and what kind of the format will take. And as I mentioned, you will have assignments due each week. So for each chapter, there will be a quiz. And for each chapter, there will be a reflection. It's just, 5 or 10 minutes to just quickly reflect on what you learned, identify any questions you might still have. This allows me an opportunity to interact with you all and answer questions you have, whether it's about the content or just how to apply it or some kind of burning random question you'd like answered. That's a good forum for it. And then for each chapter, you'll have one assignment, either a discussion assignment or a written assignment. And so all of these assignments are available on eCampus. You can, look through the parameters. They're kind of very clearly laid out of what's expected and when it's due. But if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. So that's really kind of an overview of the course, and you can see my face and know who I am, so I don't feel like a stranger to you. Get an, kind of a feeling for what the expectations are going to be. Again, I'm just going to put it out there. It is a lot of work. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Also, I'm not trying to torture you, right? But I want you to learn. It's important to me that you come away from this class with a competent understanding of the contents that you can apply it when you go into the workforce. It's going to make you a better manager. It's going to make you a better peer. It's going to make you a better coworker. And at the end of the day, the knowledge is really going to help you be your best self in the workplace. So we do have a lot to cover, but I've tried to structure it in a way that you feel supported and is clearly laid out and gives you an opportunity even to work ahead a little bit if your schedule requires you to do so. Again, I know you're balancing multiple things. So at the end of the day, hey, we've got 8 weeks together and I just want to make it the best 8 weeks that we can. So let's work together to have a positive environment, learn what we can. I love learning from you all. I love your ideas on the content. Sometimes you provide new perspectives I hadn't thought of before. And I'm like, wow, I'm learning from you just like you're learning from me. So if there's anything you need, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here to help you, here to support you all semester long. And I'm just so looking forward to our journey together. So have a wonderful first week. Have a wonderful new year. We're still kind of at the beginning of the new year. This is a good time to, check in with your goals for this semester, for the coming year, and to try out some strategies to improve your learning. So whatever I can do to help you, support you, please let me know. So looking forward to chatting with you again in the coming weeks. Take care. Bye.